How's it going, everybody? So I've been watching a lot of people's Diablo 2 YouTube content, and one of the things that I see most commonly asked are a lot of frequent questions when it comes to tips, tricks, and just facts about the game. So I wanted to make my own version of that as well and go into detail about some of the things that maybe haven't been covered by other people. A lot of this may be repeat to some of you veteran players, but for anybody that is either starting up or is just not into a lot of the details of the game, hopefully this will be very helpful for you. And so before I start, for any of you guys that do ask, I am using Plugy. It is a mod that you can get for your computer. For me, as you can see, I have an Apple, and I do not have an install guide for this modification because it gives you shared stash, almost pretty much unlimited stash. As you can see, it goes for quite a while. But if you have a Windows computer, I will link in the description for you of two different people that have really good Plugy install guides. One of them being Mrllamasc, and the other one is for a newer Diablo 2 content creator. His name is Sweet Phil, and you can use either one of those guides to be able to install Plugy for your Windows computer, so that way you can have the benefits of a shared stash, and as well as being able to see, for example, like item levels. And there's so many different things that Plugy offers. My favorite thing probably is for the stat screen, which is the attributes that you see over here. It tells you how much magic find you have, all your stats of life stolen per hit, damage taken, goes to mana. And I mean, it goes for a while as far as like, okay, what's your resists, min maxes, so on and so forth. It's awesome. So I definitely recommend it. I used to play vanilla, but I mean, right now I can't anymore. But let's see. Just want to make sure I have all my magic stuff on here. Yeah, I think it's good. Let's see. Oh, it's because of this, that's right. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to be leveling up my Barbarian a little bit. He's right now real low for the level that he's at, but I'm going to be doing Mephisto runs because I am trying to find Titans for my Amazon, but I am running just under 300. So I want to go ahead, and I made a list of what I have found to be frequently asked questions, so I'm going to go through them one by one with you guys. As you guys can see, I'm not on Twitch. I'm just simply talking to a camera for you guys, so that way you can get the information on here. So the first thing is going to be the Countess rune drop table, and why people play on why people play on players 1. So for her, the thing is, when it comes to her rune drop table, she filling out the rune drops, she first tries to go for items. That's how she is designed, is to drop items. And then if you go at a higher players count, what you're going to do is you're going to make it to where she is going to drop a lot more items. Because if you take away from players 1, if you take away the ability for her to drop as many items, then what she's going to be doing is she's going to be dropping more runes instead. So that's why too a lot of people will play her on players 1, because they want to make sure that she is able to actually drop runes, and it also just makes it to where she's a lot easier to kill, because she does have in her room, which I find annoying when I'm farming her, is my lightning sword, and she has a lot of lightning immune archers, so it does get a little bit annoying. But again, it's more to be able to lessen her ability to actually drop weapon bases and make it to where the odds of runes actually dropping increase. So, but that's why people will farm her on players 1. And so ghost packs, another thing I see not talked about a lot, is the reason that ghost packs have a higher rune drop chance is because they cannot drop weapon armor bases, so they are able to actually drop a lot more runes. So it's kind of like when it comes to the Countess, because of the inability to drop, you know, like a crystal sword or a studded leather or whatever the case is, that they're able to actually drop runes. So on the way to the, I forgot to make him player 7. Oh well. So on the way to like the summoner or in the, oh yeah, damn it. Oh well. So pretty much on the way to the summoner, when people are doing summoner runs, because he doesn't really have a lot of items that he drops because of his drop table, they will kill a lot of ghost packs, especially the champion ones. The champion ones, however, they're able to actually drop items that are not, or they're able to drop weapon and armor bases. However, when it comes to their, it's just a regular white ghosts, they will not. So it just makes it a lot easier to find runes there. So next thing is the Andariel Bug. So when it comes to bugging Andariel, because she is a really good place to farm for jewelry, whether it's going to be in Nightmare or Hell. I mean, normal, if you are trying to level up in normal, she's really, really good, especially because she has a weakness of fire. But when it comes to Nightmare, if you're looking for Stone of Jordan, she has a really good drop chance. Compared to Hell, it's a little bit better, but I mean, for some people, it's, you're just splitting hairs. So, but what's nice is, if you want to bug her, because every single time you kill a boss, you get what's called a quest drop. And so with that, with a quest drop, you get the best drop chance of getting all of the items that she is able to drop. And if you, when you kill her, if you immediately just go to town, if she spawns you a portal, then go ahead and use that. But if, for example, you already have a portal open, like a safe portal, I don't know why I did players 1, except, okay, so if you have a portal that you spawned, just as like a safe getaway in case it nearly kills you and you don't want to lose, experience, or it's gonna just, you run through the catacombs to get to her, then what you're gonna want to do is you can take your portal at that point, or you can take hers, and from there you will be able to go to Warif and immediately talk to him and go to Loot Glean. So you want to be able to just immediately go, do not save and quit after you killed her. You want to just immediately go and travel east. So from there, she will be bugged. And you'll know that because when you go back to farm her, she will not drop any gold, and you will know that she's bugged. So it will give her the ability to drop the same quest drop over and over and over again, and it will stay like that permanently for your character. So for example, I did that with the Barbarian here, and so if I was to go and to farm her, she would be quest bugged. So that way, if I wanted to, for example, like farm for an SOJ, I would be able to have better drop odds, versus the drop odds really go down if you've not quest bug her. The moat trick for Andariel, the moat trick for Duriel. So if you've already killed Duriel, because he is actually supposed to be a really good boss for facets, then what you would want to do is, again, you've already killed him once, and what that does is it opens up the wide pathway that would lead you to where you would find Duriel. And so what you do is you drag him through the pathway to where you would find Duriel, where Talarasha once was, and then if you have a character that's either able to leap or teleport, you would then teleport to the side circular walkway, and from there he will be stuck, and it will be kind of like a, for Mephisto here, he's able to be moat tricked. Duriel is able to be given the exact same treatment, so that way if you wanted to farm him, because he is kind of a pain in the butt to farm, he is an incredibly difficult melee boss to kill, and it allows you to have a safe distance away from him, so that way you can farm him effectively and not have any reason to think that you're going to die. The only problem would be is if your mercenary goes to the side and kind of lures him out of the trick. But other than that, you should be safe. And so, because we talked about Duriel's moat trick, let's talk about Mephisto's. So, I do not have a clip of his moat trick, so I'm going to be using Mrllamasc's. But as you can see, if you're able to get him, for example, in this circle or right over here, and you're able to teleport back to the other side without aggroing, especially the members of the High Council, then what you would do is you would stand far enough away, and you can just hit them with, if you're like a sorceress, you can use Meteor, you can use Blizzard, or if you're like an assassin, you can use like lightning traps. The problem is if you stand too close, what he's going to do is he's still going to be able to attack you. So you want to make sure that you are far enough away to be able to have an effective attack without him actually hitting you, and also without aggroing the council members that are here as you would travel to come fight Mephisto. So, but that's an easy way to, again, for survivability and just being able to kill him real easily. It allows you to be safe and farm him really, really effectively. So Diablo's lightning or fire breath, whatever you want to consider it. Oh, please tell me I don't already have this. I probably do. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I do. Dang it. Oh well, let's see what the chest has. Okay, nothing good. So let's just go ahead and get back. Okay, so Diablo's lightning breath. As you go through the difficulties of normal, nightmare, and hell, it actually becomes a lot easier to kill Diablo, because yes, he's very effective when it comes to melee damage, but he, as a boss, every single difficulty when it comes to his lightning breath. So if you have him, the lightning breath in normal starts literally from where his mouth is, and it shoots low, and so you could be a caster or a melee character and you would be at risk of getting hit. However, when it comes to normal, it starts farther away from his mouth. So if you're, like, for example like a Hammerden, and you are standing like right next to Diablo, and he shoots off his lightning or fire breath, whatever you want to call it, you have a greater chance of not getting hit, and it won't hurt you at all. So that way all you're left with is his physical melee damage, which is, by comparison, a lot less, and it allows you to survive really well. And then when you go into hell, it starts a lot farther, so you can actually be a caster quite a good distance away, and it would not actually hit you. So as you progress throughout the game, it does get a lot easier to kill Diablo, because if you stand close enough to him, it will make it to where you're not going to be in any jeopardy of dying. Excuse me. So, bugging the ancients. This is a really fun one, because they are some of the hardest bosses to kill, because each one of them, fighting all three, they can spawn with all kinds of different mods, especially in hell. But there's ways to be able to bug them, so that way they're not going to actually attack you. And I already have the player set. Okay, so what you do is, for example, let's see, who should I go with first? So with Talik, if you don't want to get Whirlwind spawn on you, what you do is you just stand at the edge on the bottom left of the screen, and he will only be able to hit you, but he will not be able to Whirlwind you, because of the fact of, if he tries, he would then, in a sense, almost Whirlwind himself off the map to where he would die. So he's not going to be Whirlwinding if you decide to go after him, or not go after him, but if you decide to go after the edge to where he has to fight you and just swing his axe. So it just makes it a lot easier to fight him, because depending on what kind of character you are, it does become quite risky when he is constantly whirlwinding you. Okay. I don't know why I did that, but cool. Let's go ahead and leap before we go into the next guy. Come on, Mephisto. Okay, so when it comes to Corlick, because he is using Leap, I didn't even pin him to 1. I'm really bad at that. Okay, so when it comes to Corlick, if you stand at the very far right of the map, there is a spot that you can actually drag him to. And if you are, for example, a character that is able to either teleport or leap like the Barbarian is, you can hop over to the other side and keep him stuck, and he will not teleport or not leap over to your side. So that way you can just have him kind of moat tricked in a way. And from there, it'll make it a lot easier to fight him, especially if you're a caster character. Ooh, Bonham. I have that already. Dang it. Okay. So, and it just makes it a lot easier to kind of single him out. And also, too, what you could do is go and, if you're able to have a character that is really fast, especially if you have faster run walk, you can run real quick across the map and usually be able to kind of separate them out one by one. And so then for Maddock, his trick is, let's see, there we go. When you're fighting him and you're kind of dragging him throughout the whole map, if you're able to get a pillar in between you two, then all he's going to do is just throw, and you'll have him stuck. So if you, for example, are an assassin and you have traps, you can lay traps on either side of him, and he'll just literally attack the pillar and not do any damage. If you're like a sorceress and you use Firewall, that's probably one of the most effective ways that you can kill him, or Meteor, Blizzard, or whatever the case is. So that's kind of a little trick to be able to kill him. Just so that way your survivability, especially if it's a mod that's not really favorable for your character, you want to be able to have the best type of survivability. And that is the easiest way to do it. So, getting rid of the Bill clone, or the tentacles that come up, because it does get to be a little bit much. And being able to tell the clone as well. So when you have a clone on your hands, you want to be able to... Oh, I'm probably going to die. Nope. Thank God. Okay, so if you have the clone on your hands, what you do is run as far away from them as possible, so one side of the map over the other, and from there, you are going to take a town portal and head to town, go talk to Mala, or just run to the other side of the map real quick and stay there for like 5 to 10 seconds. And once you go back to fight Baal, then he should be by himself, and the tentacles should have unspawned as well. So easiest way to unspawn the tentacles. So and being able to tell the Baal, oh my God, he actually teleported over here. Damn it! Please don't die! 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 Okay, so that actually is going to go into one of my points. So if you want to be able to Merc Bug your mercenary without him being in real jeopardy, is you want to be able to get as far away from your Merc as possible. So for certain characters, like for example, with my guy with Leap, I am able to keep him positioned where he is and go across, you know, a river or the moat to kind of keep him at bay. And that allows him to jump across, and from there, if you effectively bugged him, then he's not going to be targeted by, for example, like Mephisto here, he's not being targeted, but if I stand in between Mephisto and my Merc, then he is able to effectively kind of stay out of danger. I mean, the poison's going to still get him, but when it comes to being struck, he's not going to really have any issues of survivability. But, you can go to, for example, like the outer cloister, inner cloister. If you find a door, put him on the other side of the door, close it, and then just run as far away as possible, and he should teleport to you. So that's going to be a way to kind of get him bugged. So that way it's going to be a lot easier to go around and have him survive and be more effective for you. So it just sucks because I really wish he wouldn't have teleported. But anyway, So back to the declone, being able to tell them apart. So when you look at the names, you're going to see how, for example, you see Mephisto is, the D is not aligned with the M, for the demon is not aligned for the M in his name. If you see on the declone that the D in demon is aligned with the B in Baal perfectly, that's the clone. And he's also not going to teleport, and only actual Baal is going to be able to teleport. So that's an easy way to kind of just tell them apart. So, but again, with one of the previous things, you can kind of get him to unspawn, just that way you fight Baal himself. Just makes it a lot easier. So, also when it comes to fighting Baal, you are able to decrepify yourself and make it to where your Merc is not decrepify, especially if your Merc is more of the higher damage dealing character of you and him. If you stand on the steps next to Baal when he is casting his decrepifies, especially if you're waiting for like a new wave to come on, you then are standing on the steps, your Merc's down there, and then you get decrepified and he does not. So it just makes it a lot easier to have him be able to move around a lot faster and just without any kind of restrictions. So I think I do have that as well. Damn. Okay. So but yeah, that's the easy way to kind of get the Decrepify off you or off him and then onto you only. And then if you have, for example, like a belt that has a lot of slots and you want to kind of just feed him health so that way he survives a lot easier, that would be usually a good method of survivability and just being able to utilize your mercenary. So next thing is strength bugging your character. So if you have a weapon that has plus to strength and you're able to respec, so again, if you have Plugy, for example, you know, I can, right here, I can take away vitality, strength, or whatever the case is. But if you have a weapon that has plus to strength on it and you are able to respec your character and you make it to where the weapon is already equipped, you take away the extra strength that would be needed to equip the weapon and you can use it for like vitality, energy, dexterity, whatever you want. But if you make it to where it's self-sustaining, it's a double-edged sword. If you're ever concerned about survivability, then it could be really, really dangerous, because if you do end up dying with that character, you go to pick up your body, you're not going to be able to pick up that self-sustained piece of equipment because of the fact that your character naked is not able to have enough strength to equip it. So you want to make sure that what you can do is have like ammies or rings that are to strength, so that way you are able to equip it right after and go from there. So that's probably what I'd say is like the easiest way if you do end up dying. But what it does is allows you to, again, kind of have more stats for other things that would be of use, especially if your character is really dependent or really low on health, or as it levels it has kind of a really low health ratio. So I don't know how to exactly put that out, or as far as like how to word it, but if it's like 1-to-1, like I think a Necromancer is 1-to-1, you want to be able to have a lot more health stacked, and that would be a good way to do it. But it makes it hard to pick up. You will have to have either something that has plus to strength, or you possibly can lose that item. So okay, player 7, this is what I want. Alright, so yeah, you don't want to aggro these guys. Come on, Mephisto, what's up? Okay, so Ebugging Armor. So adding a 50% bonus to ethereal. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so Ebugging Armor. So when it comes to ethereal weapons, this is only for ethereal weapons, or armor necessarily, you want to add sockets to it, so you can give your mercenary better equipment there is a cube recipe. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but what you would want to do is roll the dice in a Project Cube, and from there you would be adding sockets to it. So if it's a, for example, if it's a max socket, because armors will only go up to 4, if it is only going to get 1 socket, it's a 1 in 6 chance. 2 sockets, 1 in 6. 3 is 1 in 6. 4 being the max, because it would have a roll of 5 and a roll of 6. It would then kind of default back down to 4, so you'd have a 50% chance of getting 4 open sockets if it does allow it to have 4 open sockets. And with that, you would get a 50% defense bonus added on top of that armor. And it only works when you use the Project Cube. So if you go to, for example, to Larzik after you've killed Shank, then you're not going to get that 50% bonus to your armor. And you're also let's see, come on. So that's going to be kind of one of those things that you want to make sure that also too, adding, if it already has sockets, if it's a ethereal armor and it already has sockets, you're not going to get that 50% defense bonus if you add something to it. So you only get a 50% defense bonus if it is an armor that had no sockets to it and it is not magic. So come on, just and that would allow for, you know, obviously better, higher defense and a better base for something like a fortitude or a treachery, if you are not able to make a fortitude yet. Even though I love treachery. I love the fact that, you know, fade procs, and most of the time my characters teleport anyway, so RR's usually right with me. Come on. So, and then going off that, superior armors versus just regular Eth armors. So if you get, for example, like an ethereal superior armor, it will have a higher defense bonus compared to the exact same base that you would be using. So, but however, if you were to, for example, like Larzik, that you would not get higher defense than if you were to Project Cube sockets into that armor, giving it again that 50% defense bonus. So the argument of what is better, ethereal superior armors or it's superior armors or regular bases. Regular bases if you add sockets with the Project Cube recipe. It's always going to be like that. So that's why it sucks that you kind of have to, you know, roll the dice and take that risk, because it obviously could possibly roll to a amount of sockets that you don't want, but it just makes it a lot better for your character if you are able to get something that's a good base and then add sockets to it. Here we go. So next is rerolling maps. All you do is you just change the difficulty from what you actually want to play, and then you go back to the difficulty you want. It doesn't guarantee that's going to be a really good map when you go back, but that is a way, for example, if you want like a quicker way to fight Baal from the World Soul Keep, or you're trying to farm Andariel or farm Mephisto, because right now like I'm farming Mephisto, but it's not a really good map. But of the maps that I've had, this has so far been the best one, so I'm just kind of dealing with it at the moment. So that's how you would reroll maps to better favor what you're trying to do. So also another thing that I had to learn later on, which sucked, but it's good to learn it. If you are kind of struggling for when it comes to like faster run walk, and you have like a Paladin, you can use Charge, and it will be equivalent to pretty much running really, really fast. Kind of like how with Frenzy, it allows my Barbarian after a couple swings to be able to run faster So for example, you'll see it right here. So see, there you go. I just need to get out. Just need to get out. Come on. There we go. So let's go down here, get away from everybody else. All right, cool. So yeah, if you are able to use charge, it's kind of like a cheap way. Obviously, it costs mana, but if you're able to stack quite a bit of mana and you do need to cover a lot of ground, then you want to use charge for your paladin. So I'm gonna just go to town because I want to get a little. I only use one potion. Damn it. Okay, whatever. I thought I used more than one. Okay, so the next thing is, for example, one hard point into leap attack, like what I just did, is what's able to. Come on, what are you doing? Dude, come on, get over here. So one hard point into leap attack is what's allowed me to be able to cross the moat, whereas you would expect characters like, for example, the sorceress, she would be able to just teleport right over. And when going through leap on this skill tree, it tells you like, oh, you have this amount of yards that you can leap. If you just put into leap attack, you can cross like rivers. In Act 3, you can cross through the River of Flame in Act 4, and it makes it a lot easier to kind of just navigate around the map. And you can't go, like, for example, how in the World Stone Keep you can go from room to room, but it does allow you to be able to just cross large bodies that would be attached to where you're going, or where you're coming from to where you're going, not through something, but just over it. And then also, too, going off of leap, if you... come on. There we go. Nope, there we go. So, if you have a point invested in leap and you need a little bit of crowd control, especially if you're like an early on barbarian or you're in an area where you have a lot of enemies that have a certain resistance that is going to be low for your character, if you just continuously hit leap, it gets it to where they start to force themselves away from you, and it serves as crowd control, and I believe even champions are able to do that, or are able to get moved away as well. So just kind of an early, cheap way of crowd control. So that way you have better chances of surviving, and then hopefully if you just have Frenzy on, you just hit something, you're able to kind of pick up some speed and run away if that's something that is necessary for your character. Let's see what else we got. Boosting life with plus life to plus vitality, and then determining that also with hard and soft points. So if you have what's boostable by, for example, battle orders, like you've been seeing me do, is going to be stuff that's plus to life. However, that comes with a few restrictions. So something like, for example, an Ami that says, plus to life dependent on your skill level, that's not going to be boostable by battle orders. Things that are plus to vitality are not going to be boostable by battle orders. And then also soft points, so things you would get, like for example, like a helm that says, plus 2 barbarian skills, plus 2, this, that, it's not going to be boostable by battle orders. So you want to make sure it's only the hard points, and no synergies as well are going to be boostable by battle orders. It's just the hard points into the skills that would actually be boostable. Come on. You were almost dead. Okay. And then there's also an experience penalty. This is something I had no idea about, and it sucked because I really wish I did. So when it comes to playing the game, when I first played it, I talked about this on my low-end rune word list that I made. When it comes to experience, you want to stay within your area, your area's experience within, I think it's like 5 levels. And the reason for that is, if you start to steer away, like if a monster is either too hard to kill, or too high of a level, or too low a level, then you are not getting the full experience gained, even if you're at a higher player's count. Oh my god, really? Again? I know I have this. Yep, I have quite a few of these. Dang it. Ooh, that false topaz is dope. Okay. Yeah, when you Holy Grail, you eventually get a lot of the same stuff over and over again, but no big deal. So, so with that said, going back to what I used to do, I used to go, because I hadn't played the game in like 15 plus years, so I went around to every single area that you can think of. I did all the additional areas in all the acts, especially like all the tombs in Act 2. I went through all the extra areas in Act 3, all the different temples to find Lem Esen's tomb, and what have you. I really went out of my way to kind of just get the full experience of Diablo 2 again, since I hadn't played since I was a really young kid. I think I was like 11 when I played. So with that said, if you stay within, and you'll see it on the screen, if you stay within your area's level per difficulty, then what you will do is you'll be able to max out your experience gained, so that way you are able to level up a lot faster and not waste so much time like I did waiting to level up. Like I was able to, every single character that I have on here, I was able to get to level 40 or higher before I went into Nightmare, just so that way I can actually go into Act 2. My goal always was to have my character ready to, if for example he was able to go fight the Ancients that moment that he entered in that difficulty, he would be at the level to do it. So Act 2 was, or not Act 2, but Nightmare, they were all at 40, and Hell, they're all at 60. So, but yes, you want to stay within your experience that you would have, so that way you can maximize your experience gained for your character. So let's move over. So what else do we got? Oh, the tomb of Lem Esen is always going to be in the same place in the ruined temple. So that's going to be, I think it's the Cross Bazaar. And it's going to be the one that always faces down diagonally. And that's where you're going to find Serena. So that's where it always is going to be. Just to make it easy to farm that one if you need it. Skill point stacking on mercs. So if it's for a mercenary, like for example with the Iron Wolves, so they have specific cold, fire, and lightning skills. So if you have something that they can wear, you equip them with it that has plus to like fire skills, plus to cold skills, plus the lightning skills, then yes, it will be able to actually stack with their actual attack. However, if you get, for example, like a Act 5 mercenary, something that has plus to like masteries, or plus to resistance, or plus to, you know, what is it, like battle orders, they're not going to be able to actually utilize that at all. So that does not work. But something of like plus to like even Act 1 mercenaries, you know, cold arrow, fire arrow, if you give them plus to cold fire as well, then they will actually be able to stack. So but I believe plus to barbarian skills, even for the Act 5 mercenary, does work, because it kind of, depending on, it doesn't even really matter what they actually do have, because it will affect all barbarian skills. So that is how that will work. But and also stacking plus 2 skills on your Merc, I do not believe stacks onto you as well. So I'd have to double check that. That's one that I just unfortunately not 100% on. There's a bug in Nightmare for fire, cold, and lightning enchanted monsters. When they are dual modded and they die, they explode. And so it is a bug that really only is like really bad in Nightmare. It was never really fixed. So if you have something like, for example, it's like a cold, fire and lightning enchant, stay away. Try to be as far away from possible when it dies. Try to send your Merc in to kind of clean up the mess, because you could easily get one-shotted. So because it increases, for example, they deal the explosion from their own health, but for some reason it is greatly multiplied for some reason. So you want to just stay away. Stay away. Obviously, you guys can see I'm not really good with the Barbarian. I'm kind of still learning him, so there's times where I accidentally boost everything with the wrong side, with the wrong hand. But I'm still just kind of learning him a little bit. So So if you sell something to a merchant that has a low quantity, like for example, if you have like throwing potions or rancid gas potions that have a low quantity, you sell it to a merchant and buy it back, you get max quantity for that item again. So it's just something kind of like a little trick. If you have the gold to be able to do it, that's a way to get max again. And also if you pick up something, like for example, if you see 3 rancid gas potions all on the ground, you want to open your inventory and put them into your inventory one by one. Otherwise they're all going to stack on top of one another. I have that. Let's see, what do we got for the... I'm certain I have that. I'll probably get both anyway, just because why not? So, I already talked about that. Oh, if you have something that has slows monsters by X, and you go to fight Baal, that's probably the easiest way to kill him because he ends up being the easiest boss. I remember going through normal and nightmare. I died a lot of the time at Diablo and would live for most of the characters all the way to him, and for some reason would just get caught in his lightning and fire breath. However, when it came to Baal, so far I've never had a character die. And especially if, for example, like my weapon here, no, not this one, this one. So it says right here, slows target by 50%. With Baal especially, if you hit him with it, he will drop so many frames that he will not be able to really cast anything. I mean, it maybe is like, 1 out of 100 that he's able to cast anything at all. But if you have something that has slows target by X, it will help to make it to where he barely is able to move, and especially if you have a mercenary, it's going to allow for a lot more survivability for them as well. So that's going to be an easy way to kill pretty much bosses in general. It slows their frame rate down to where they can't cast anything, and they'll cast one on top of another. So as he's trying to cast one thing and finish out the frames, something else will try to be casted, and it'll kind of counter each other out. So kind of an easy way to kill him as well. Monsters that use range attacks and that require attack rating, they have twice the attack rating. So that's why you will get hit more often than not. So if your character is, for example, if you're going through and doing like Countess runs and you want to avoid the cold arrows, make sure that you're able to go really fast or teleport through, because their attack rating again is twice as you would see for like a melee character, so they will hit you. Okay, so just making sure because I totally forgot. Okay, so the assassin doesn't need keys to open anything, so just kind of a little easy way to open chests or not have a key in there so you can open it, or even keep a open space in your inventory for like a charm or for potions or what have you. So come on. So when it comes to skills, like for example like tornado, or because I didn't actually really use it that much, but something like Wake of Fire, there is a time delay from the hit that you would see from the monster, because it does go into a recovery. You should not lay your traps literally one right after another. You should kind of divide or separate them out by a second, so that way when the monster first gets hit, it goes into a recovery, and then as it's going to recovery, if anything goes across, like another Wake of Fire goes through, it's not going to count towards any damage. So you want to have them spaced out to where when the Wake of Fires go off, there is a separation between the waves, so that way it actually is effectively hitting the monster one after another after another after another. So usually you'll see people put down maybe 2 or 3 and just leave it at that. Also, it helps with not using a ton of mana. So We already went over adding sockets. So how it comes to rolling items in the game. So you usually get, when it comes to rolling an item, if you have no Magic Find, you're going to get a lot of bases. If you do have Magic Find, when it comes to the percentage, the first 100% is the most crucial, and then it starts to kind of cap off a little bit, kind of like the theory of infinity. So it's never like, for example, you can go at a, you know, it'll get super close to its top off point, but it's never really going to truly reach it, just because of the way that it curves. But when it comes to Magic, how the order it goes in is, when you're trying to look for like uniques, like how I'm doing for the Holy Grail, it will go, for example, let's pick, you know, like a crystal sword or something like that, sort of like a weapon. Is it going to be unique? If it is, yes, okay, then it will roll. Is it not going to be unique? No. Okay, cool. Is it going to be a set item? No. All right, let's go ahead and see if it's going to be a rare. Is it? No. All right, so what's it going to be next? Is it going to be magic? Yes. Okay, so then it just rolls magic. So when it comes to items that, for example, if it is the right level, but it is not able to be rolled in that way, and it can't be an actual unique for that particular item, like what item wouldn't be able to roll. Anyway, if it is an item that can't roll unique because of the base of it, if it is a successful roll, but because it doesn't roll unique, it will drop it down to a rare item and give it triple the durability. So if you ever get something that has like an exceedingly high amount of durability, odds are it rolled unique successfully, but because it does not actually have an item in the game to be able to take up that unique spot, it will just triple the durability. So monster level and treasure class. So this is the last one I have on the list. So if you have, for example, a monster that has like a particularly like 85 areas, right? So all of those monsters have the they have the treasure class able to drop every single item. However, when it comes to item level, you're not going to be able to get every single item. Like, for example, everyone uses Pendleskin, so he has he's not able to roll 3 items. So Tyrael's, Arachnid's Mesh, and Azrath. So with that said, he can have successful rolls for certain items, but because of the fact that he can't drop those items, like he doesn't actually have the treasure class for oh no, I'm sorry, I was thinking of Mephisto. Mephisto can't roll, like for example, a Tyrael's Might because he doesn't have treasure class of a Sacred Armor. However, he has the item level in Hell to be able to drop it. So that's why, for example, if you farm Hell Mephisto, he has the highest, he has a level to pretty much drop every single item in the game. However, he does not have the treasure classes that would enable him to do so. Whereas Pendleskin, however, has the treasure class, but he doesn't have the item level. So that's why you'll see a lot of people when they're farming easy characters and fast characters, you're going to see them farming someone like Pendleskin because they have the treasure class for everything. So, but I know it was a lot, and again, there will be timestamps in the description, so that way if you guys want to skip around to certain things, you can use that. But that's pretty much all I got as far as being able to kind of go over the different things in the game. I hope that you guys learned something, got something out of this, and enjoyed watching me be terrible with the Barbarian. So let's see, Mephisto, you're almost dead, come on. That'd be so cool if we drop Titans right now, because that's actually what I'm looking for. But odds are it's probably not. So let's see, come on, just a little more. Please, just die already. Nothing. Nothing really good anyway. Let's see. What do we got? Ooh, it's red. Nothing really good. That'll make for some gold though. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.